Hello everyone. So today I'm going to be talking about how to improve and naturally rank up in CSGO. And all of this is based on what I've experienced in the beginning when I started playing and also what I've learned throughout the past year now that I've started teaching and reviewing people. So I hope it's a quick and insightful video that will help you rank up. So let's start talking about mechanics and panicking in game. Now, you might notice something different on the top left of my screen, and more experienced players may know what it is. To get it, just go on console and just type cl underscore show POS1 and it'll show up. I just want you to focus on the velocity thing. It'll increase, oops, it'll increase and decrease as you move, but you will only be perfectly accurate if your velocity equals 0, as you can see. Every time I'm standing still and my velocity equals 0, I'm perfectly accurate. Focus on my crosshair. If I do this wrong, my shot doesn't go where my crosshair is, right? Or at least theoretically it shouldn't. There was there were a few ones that actually did pretty quick. Pretty close, I mean. This is something that more inexperienced players do not understand. I'm guilty of this when I first started it, and as were a lot of other people that I taught and played with, friends of mine. And those people may come from other shooters and they do not understand that in CS you need to be perfectly still to hit your shot. As I said before, if your shot doesn't go exactly where your crosshair is, it means that your velocity is higher than 0, meaning that you're inaccurate, meaning you were running when you hit your shot, just like I showed you. Now, why is this important? Because of a mechanic called counter-strafing. Now, there are multiple videos on YouTube teaching you how to do this mechanic, so I will not show you how to do it here. But the idea is every time you counter-strafe, you reset your recoil, meaning if you shoot, I don't know how many shots, and keep counter-strafing in between, your recoil resets. So let's give you an explanation. Now, counter-strafe, your velocity equals 0, you start spraying. I don't know how many bullets this is. See what I mean? So something that I see a lot of players do is they instantly see an opponent and they just start spraying right away. And I recommend that you don't do that always. For example, if you are in, I don't know, you're playing somewhere and you have a box in front of you, and let's say your opponent is in the open. What you should do is instead of committing right away, you should play to your advantages. So let's imagine this is a box right here and I don't see him. I should just, play around with him. Like, take my time, because as soon as I come out of cover, he will start committing to me because he has nowhere to go. So he has two options: either he kills me or right away, and well, that's it, or he's gonna do what I'm doing, and well, I can just peek whenever I want, so I have the advantage. Um, what usually happens also is that even though they know that they have advantage with cover and other stuff, they just forget completely about it and just they swing wide and commit to the fight again. But in this case, like if you're doing this, what I was doing for a long time, usually what happens to more inexperienced players is that they'll start panicking and just click whatever button and whatever, and they'll lose the fight because of that. Now, the way I knew that was a problem right away, like I knew I couldn't play like that, right? So the way I got around it was to make myself breathe slower. 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, inside the game, whether it was a deathmatch or a comp game. Eventually, I started being more comfortable being shot at. So I stopped needing to do the breathing exercise because it was inside my head, I just felt comfortable. But eventually, when I started playing comp more seriously, I noticed the same thing again, the panicking issue. And it used to happen when I was in a more tough situation and that I didn't know the outcome. That's why I panicked, and that's what I've understood from the people I'm teaching have the same issue as well. So again, I started doing the exercise I was when I was put in a situation like that, or just whenever I felt like I needed, and then I needed it. And eventually, over time, again, same thing as deathmatch. Over time, I got comfortable, so I didn't need it. I didn't need to do it anymore. I suggest that you try this, but if this still doesn't work after a while, just I'm gonna give you something else. Start playing deathmatch with your knife out only. Like just have your knife out and just run around and counterfeit. Just trying to keep your velocity zero while avoiding death as much as possible. You'll find it really fun after a while. When you're really comfortable doing this, start then by tracking your opponent's head while you move in deathmatch, while trying to stay alive as much as you can for as long as possible, and while counter strafing, obviously. This has helped a lot of people that I'm teaching, and they've been having this problem less and less, making them able to actually make more decisions and overall just be a better player. So I really suggest that you try this, because if you see you or anyone you know have a problem like this, just teach them the exercise, just either one of this, the knifing thing, or just the breathing thing. So try it, see how you do. Second or the third line, but that line is head level. So you can have you can go on a server with bots, and you can just place them wherever you want on the map and just remember visually what's around his head, so you can remember, okay, here is where I put my crosshair because that's head level or neck level. And you have other stuff like objects, railings, boxes. Heights of boxes, for example, is something I also figured out that it's usually head level, or it's not exactly head level, but it gives you a little sense of what it is. This is what I was talking about, that second line in garage. Teammates, you can just mouse over their head and just figure out if your crosshair is head level, which is really helpful. And this is something that a friend of mine, when I started playing, told me about this, and it really helped in the beginning. But the idea of crosshair placement and why so many people talk about this as being the number one thing of ranking up and getting better aim or whatever is that you only have to worry about flicking left or right and not up and down too. Assuming, of course, you're in the same level of ground or whatever the word is of your opponent, as your opponent, I mean. So basically, with economy, a general rule of thumb is just focus on buying with your team at all times. Like if four teammates just buy or eco, following along is the best idea. Why? Because you don't end up with some teammates having a full buy on a specific round, while some teammates are on eco on that same round. It just helps keep things on balance. Now I'm gonna give you again some guidelines that you can use for when to eco, force, or buy, and it's gonna show up in the video now. Uh, Below $2,000 force. If you lose this force, you're supposed to eco on the following round, and on the following round after that, you have a full buy. Now, if you're at $2,000, you should eco. Don't buy anything, so you can buy on the following round. If you're above $2,000, you can eco. You should eco anyway. You can buy a little just until $2,000, so you can secure again a full buy on the following round. And if you're at or above 3,000, same as above $2,000. Or if you want an op, if you want an op, you can buy it after if you're with a current loss bonus that allows you to purchase the op next round. So if you have $3,000 and you have a loss bonus of 1,400, it's not going to be enough. So you need at least 1,900 loss bonus so you can buy an up next round. Uh, Basically, forcing means buying until zero, going all the way. Now, forces are done to win rounds. You can force if you're in $2,000 mark or above, but it's a risk and you really need to win that round. It's usually done when you're down really big, like you're 2 to 14, for example, in the scoreboard. Eco is basically saving money so you can buy next round. Try not to eco twice, as you'll give away two free rounds. Full buy, it's the same thing as a force, but a better buy in general. Rifles, utility, helmets. Don't be the guy with an SMG with utility if you have enough for an aim for an AK or an AK, I mean, with helmet and you literally utility. Um, Pros that do that, they have very specific cases, and it's better off to just buy the M4 and AK with low utility because it will give you a bigger chance of winning the duel that you'll need to win the round. And pistols. On pistol rounds, what I tell everyone is just if you don't have a specific strat or play that you want to do, you're better off just buying armor. Aim punch sucks, especially in lower levels, as people will have their crosshair on the ground. And game awareness is basically information that you have by teammates or by your radar or just kill feed in general, and among other things, of course. It's basically knowing what's around you in a specific moment of a round, who's covering what angle, who has what weapon, what angles you're exposed to, what you can get killed from, what areas of the map are controlled by my team or the enemy team, and a lot of other things. Now, I had to include this because a lot of people say that they need help with game sense, and that's not really what you need, and no one can help you with that besides yourselves with time and experience playing. They usually die because, for example, a teammate that's playing next to you has died and you didn't realize it because you didn't check the kill feed and consequently the radar. So if you did, you wouldn't have died from behind. Now, I personally check my radar every 2 to 3 seconds and it resets every time there's something that pops in the kill feed. In my opinion, radar is very underrated and it's really needed. And I'm going to include my config in the description in this video. And if you don't have a config, there are numerous tutorials of how to install one. But if you already have one, just make sure you copy paste the radar commands onto your own config. So I like to think of game sense as one thing, reading opponents or predicting an opponent's next move. Now, this is something that it's really difficult and it'll only come with experience. And game awareness is what I like to think about it is information that you have by teammates. This is something that you'll get in over time with how your experience goes, your mechanics get more fluid and stuff. But this is something that you guys need to understand. You need to play again to your advantages now. And when I started, I thought, okay, this is a game where the guy who headshots the most wins. And I knew I wasn't that good initially. So what I did was I'm gonna try and figure out a different way, a different approach of so I can get better at the game, which was decision making, not getting killed by my back, things like that. Adapting to my teammates, flashing for my teammates, make them be the stars of the game, and I'll be the supportive element. And I thought over time I'd get better. That's what I did. You should do the same. You should play to your advantages and disadvantages. What you know you're good at, take advantage of that and put it into use. What you're not so good at it, try and improve it. This is a more tricky subject, which is adapting to teammates or circumstances while in the round. Now, you'll see that Kesar, again, he's been doing this a lot, getting aggressive on B main next to that wall. And you'll see that little Vulture will be smart and play well because he's adapting to his teammates now. Kesar is about to wait for the smoke to pop, and he's gonna go to that box on the left of that smoke, and he's gonna hide there. And what Vulture should do is because he's on a Kesar is on a very vulnerable position, he should draw attention away from his teammate, which is Kesar, so he can take advantage of that. He should make noise, do something. What I usually tell is stay on an angle that for an enemy to see your teammate, he needs to see you first. So as soon as your enemy sees you, he's not going to worry about anyone else. Now, and this is exactly what Vulture is going to do, which is really smart. Now, what he just did is what I'm telling you. He's telling the guys on mid that I have someone on checkers. And if there was a guy on B main, which there isn't, um, again, he's gonna look at Vulture, and the terrorist will have no idea that there's a guy hiding on box. Even if Vulture dies like this, Kaysar will take advantage of that. This is something that you guys need to learn and understand how to do because it's really helpful. Now, what Kaysar just did, that's not really smart because Vulture was playing really well and he just gave away his position. But you understand? This is how you're supposed to adapt to teammates. Do stuff like this even when you rotate to other sites. Have your flash on hand. Get ready to flash for your teammates because that's the one thing they need. They need teammates blind, enemies blind, so they can swing wide and kill them. Not, I don't need you to peek so we can you can get a kill or not in this situation. This is correct. Now, if it was the opposite, which we'll see, he'll get this kill, and a teammate will trade him. Try to trade him anyway, but look at this scenario. Now, the enemy team is 4v2. Who needs this duel? Kaysar or the enemy team? Kaysar, right? Exactly. So he's gonna win this duel, but unfortunately, I think that this round's over by now. It's something to think about now. A teammate flashed for him to try and go even more aggressive. If there's anyone else here, they know that two players are on B, and that's the only remaining players there are in the round now. So they should obviously go away. But again, this is something that you guys need to think about when you're taking duels. Don't take them for the sake of it. If your goal is to get better and improving your ranking up, is something that you need to ask yourself, do I need to take the duel? If yes, go for it. If not, just best idea would be stick to your team, just plant the bomb safely, and just win the round like that. Basically, communication is key in this game. The more information you put out, the clearer information you put out, the better. If you see, if you're on B and you on piss around and you hear a lot of people coming, you shouldn't say there's five on B, it's B, it's B, it's B. You should calmly say there's a lot of people on B, come help. What happens is sometimes you'll say that there's five people on B and the A guys and the mid guy will start to rotate right away and next thing you know it's a fake and there's only two or three people there and they plan it on A and you lose the round because of that. Utility usage is something that's overlooked again by a lot of players and some of them even don't buy it just for the fact that they don't know how to use it. They don't even try. Now, this is the worst thing that you can do because unless you try and use it, you're never gonna learn how. Now, there are different types of ways that you can throw utility. Right mouse button, left mouse button, both of them at the same time. Uh, all of them have do different things in the way you throw nades, and it's really helpful for when you play the game. So if you don't know how to use it and you're one of these people, just look them up and just start practicing throwing utility in an offline server so you can get the hang of it. Oh, perfect timing. You should not set long-term goals as in ranks. Achieve You want to achieve X rank at the end of the year. You shouldn't do this. What you should do, because doing that way is if you don't reach it, it's gonna take a hit on you, and you're gonna feel demotivated, and you're just gonna feel bad playing. Like you're gonna start thinking like I should have been in this rank a year ago. That's not how it works. What you should do, however, is just setting short-term goals. For example, I want to learn this week. I want to learn how to adapt to my teammates. I want to learn the next week. I want to learn how a few flashes or a few smokes. The next week, I want to learn about crosshair placement. This is how you should be doing things. As soon as you make a tick on those checklists, short ones, short-term ones, you move on to the next one, the next one, the next one. That's how you get better at this. It's something that's overlooked by a lot of people. Not a lot of people think about this, but the idea of winner's mentality is whatever happened in the game, regardless if it was a teammate that did something wrong, you should always blame yourself, regardless. Because there's always something that you can change. There's always something that you can learn from other teammates, even the toxic ones. And that's how you improve. Like, even if a teammate is being really toxic, if he's getting mad at you for something that you're doing, unless he's being really annoying to you and you're just, I can't take this guy anymore, in that case, just mute him and move on. But if you think and he's not being that annoying to you, if you think that he's has something that you can learn from him, don't mute him right away and try to ask him what's his point of view on things. Because there's a lot of things in this game that I have 2,000 hours in the game and I don't know everything. But I always try to learn from other people, even lower ranked people like than me, because I always have something to learn, you know. And Mr. Fnatic fanboy over here is about to die from A main, and the first thing that I suggest to everyone that plays this and he wants to get better is just as soon as you die, you want to ask yourself, why did I why did I die? How did it happen? And a way to fix it. Three questions you should ask yourself. If you can't think of it right away, ask a teammate. And if a teammate can't, watch a demo and try to figure out what happened outside of what happened around you. So enemies' point of views, teammates' point of view, so you can maybe have an alternative. Remember, you're not looking for a fix right away unless you're experienced enough. You're looking for alternatives.